But of course, we're going to start with that big win. Remember, we've been pushing on this channel repeatedly to have Mumbai pothole-free. In an impact that came this morning after months of campaigning against the terrible state of roads in Mumbai, the Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis has finally taken note. The Chief Minister has given Mumbai civic authorities a 15-day deadline to make Mumbai pothole-free. BJP National Spokesperson Shailesh NC gives us exclusive details telling us how the Chief Minister plans to now take control of the situation.
So first, on the urban debate on our channel, you said that work will begin soon, and now Maharashtra CM has given a 15-day deadline for pothole-free roads. Has work already begun?
Yes, the work has begun. There was a delegation from our party that met with the Honourable Chief Minister. He has given an assurance that within 15 days we will definitely take care of the western suburbs. The eastern suburbs is also an area of concern. I think we must understand that ours is the first government that has the political will to have put these faulty contractors behind bars, and we're not going to repeat the same mistakes. We want for every Mumbai citizen to realize that this is a proactive government with long-term solutions, and those long-term solutions sometimes take time only because there are multiple agencies, be it the BMC, the MMRDA, the PWD, but the Honourable Chief Minister is monitoring this himself.
Okay. We also understand that CM has asked all the three agencies here, PWD, MMRDA and the BMC, to pull up their socks. So are you also going to be pulling up people who haven't delivered?
Our Chief Minister is amply clear. He has given a deadline, and side by side he has also said that people from the PWD, MMRDA, BMC need to collaborate and report directly to the Chief Minister. I don't think you would see this kind of proactiveness in previous governments. You are seeing it. Let's have the patience to correct a system and to come up with conclusive solutions.
Last question now. You said that the CM will personally monitor over the next 15 days to see that work will be done. Tell me this, that's something that we'll keep in touch with you about, but what will happen if work doesn't get done over the next 15 days?
Magicbricks will be following up, and I think that work will be done. Why think in the negative? There are solutions, there are problems, but there are people who have the proactive political will to deliver, and our Chief Minister clearly belongs to that category. And you're a watchdog, so Mumbai is watching, and we are trying to do our best, and I hope you will appreciate when the good work happens.
Well, as citizens of Mumbai, we must remember that the city's roads are manned by the BMC, the MMRD and the PWD, all of whom have to get together and repair those roads in the next 15 days. Though 90% of the roads in Mumbai come under the BMC. The civic body still maintains there are only 45 potholes in the entire city. Our ground report gave us a completely different story. My colleague Disha Shah went to the BMC office today and spent the day trying to figure out how they plan to take on this Herculean task.
To meet the 15-day deadline given by the Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis to fix and repair all the potholes in the next 15 days, BMC's plan of action is to deploy more labourers and workers on ground. In fact, they told us that the count of workers could go up to 250 across the city who will work round the clock day and night to ensure that potholes are repaired and fixed in the next 15 days. Note that 90% of the roads come under the BMC in Mumbai. In fact, they also told us that at every ward level, all the ward officers will inspect the site and spot on a daily basis to ensure that potholes are filled and repaired, and the deadline is met. In fact, they also told us that they will address the citizens' complaints within 24 hours and not an hour, which was the previous commitment of the BMC to the citizens. And lastly, what we've also got to know is that according to the latest statistics, BMC claims that only 45 potholes are yet to be repaired across the city, but the situation on ground seems to be very different. If you just take an example of the two exits between the Eastern Expressway, you will find 40 to 50 potholes alone in that stretch of the road. However, BMC claims that they are very confident that they'll meet the deadline, but at the end of the day, it remains to be seen that whether the civic body BMC will be able to give Mumbai, the citizens of Mumbai, pothole-free roads. This is Disha Shah reporting here for Magicbricks Now.
Well, a quick conversation first on that big impact that we're seeing on Magicbricks Now tonight, that Mumbai will in fact be pothole-free in 15 days. And a shout out to all of the citizens who watch this show on a daily basis and support us on Twitter and support the campaigns. In the studio with me, Niranjan Shetty, BJP spokesperson, Shailesh Gandhi. I'm extremely happy to have him in the studio. Former CIC, which means Commissioner of RTI and also an RTI activist. Shama Mohamed, the spokesperson of the Congress, joins me as well. Shailesh Gandhi, my question to you is this. Is it a 15-day job? Can Mumbai be pothole-free in 15 days?
It is possible, I believe. And the Chief Minister has staked his reputation on this. I mean, I would appreciate that and applaud and say, even if in the worst case it doesn't get done in 15 days, but 20 days or 30 days, here's a person who's saying, I am staking my reputation on it. Therefore, I believe, first question is, yes, it is possible to have a pothole-free Mumbai. There's no issue about it. Worldwide, most places, including countries like Sri Lanka, have roads without any potholes.
Absolutely.
So it can be done. And the Chief Minister is saying, I'm putting my reputation to this. It will be done. As I said, as far as I'm concerned, instead of 15, if it takes 30, I would still applaud the Chief Minister and say, this is the way it should be done.
All right, Niranjan Shetty, obviously my next question to you is, if it was a 15-day job to begin with, why did we have to campaign for 4 months in order to actually get this commitment to get the job done?
I would not like to retaliate what our senior leader Shaina NC said. What I am trying to say is, and what Sir Shailesh Gandhiji said rightly, irrespective of the time period that was been taken, whether it was before 4 months or recently, you have to agree to this stand that was taken by our CM, that at least we have given a dentum line that within 15 days they have to take care of those potholes which are seen. I agree that there may not be 45 only, there must be much more. But the important thing is we are taking up the steps.
Right, Niranjan, the BMC has turned around and told us there are only 45, which we can do in 15 days. So which when our reporter went over to meet them, they said 45, 50,
it may not be true. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying this on your channel. It may not be true what BMC is saying, that 45 potholes will be there. There must be much more. That's why the CM has given the deadline of 15 days, that they should do it within by that period of time. And that is the way how it has to be worked out.
All right, so a 15-day deadline for the PWD, the BMC and the MMRDA to make Mumbai completely pothole-free. Shama Mohamed, I'm personally very glad to hear the Chief Minister actually step in and take control of this situation. It's what we've been asking for. I've been asking for it now for months on this channel. What's your reaction to the statement that 15 days and we'll actually have a pothole-free Mumbai? As a citizen of Mumbai, this makes me very happy.
So it makes me very happy to hear this sort of statement from the Chief Minister. It's a great statement coming from him. But like all BJP statements, this is like a shock and awe treatment. You know, they come up with these short-term solutions, which is not going to work. How can you fill up all those potholes in 15 days? Like you mentioned before, they should have thought about it 4 months ago, find out who these contractors are, who do these small sort of work, change the contractors, get contractors which do roads very well. Now, if you look in Mumbai, there are certain roads which for years have had no potholes, and certain roads which have had potholes continuously. That itself shows that there is some issue with the contractors. Now they're saying we've got a chief, I've heard Shaina NC say that they have a chief minister who has a will. Now the BMC is run by the Shiv Sena BJP for the last 27 years. So why do you need a chief minister with a will? The BMC is supposed to do it. It is the BJP in partnership with Shiv Sena which is running it. So they should have done it long time back. Why, after, like you said, people campaign for something and then they start this sort of reaction? So I have my doubts, but I will be happy too if it can be worked out for the people of Mumbai.
Yeah, what I wanted to bring to your notice is that what Shainaji was trying to say, the will of the CM was, it is his will that he has put behind those contractors which in the past so many 15 years the Congress government was not able to do. That's what she was trying to say.
Congress government is not in charge of the BMC, and we have been pushing the BMC
there were CMs
so
during your tenure, and most of the roads that had the potholes were in the MMR region or the MMRDA region.
Now, why do you always go back to the Congress government?
have
What
to,
are you
because
doing?
it happens.
You had
You
people
cannot-
to campaign, and how can you
cannot,
fix something? I told you.
You cannot
in 15
clear the
days,
history and just go ahead.
you have-
Everything will be decided on this channel. When we are pointing one finger towards somebody, there are fingers pointing towards us also. The responsibility has to be shared.
No, that's what I'm trying to.
So let us
I think
see
the question
that-
here
let
is
us-
the question here is
people put it onto the
while the
municipal
current chief
corporator-
minister Shama, while the current chief minister has in fact, now whether it can be done or not, has in fact staked his personal reputation on his statement and said Mumbai will in fact be pothole free, and we heard China say that if it doesn't happen, channels like this one on this channel will be tracking it day in and day out, and we will bring it up on the 13th of October when the 15-day deadline expires. It has not happened in the past. No previous chief minister of the state of Maharashtra has come out and put his personal reputation on the line.
Yeah, but that is how the party functions. They tell a lot of things, including our PM. Have we gone to war with Pakistan? In terms, I mean, I'm just giving it to you in context. In regards to the Uri attack, have we gone for war with Pakistan? Like he had mentioned that the Congress party does not do anything. We had always diplomatic relationship with Pakistan. But they have asked PM Modi when 26/11 happened, said we have to go for war with Pakistan. But did they do that?
Okay,
so they talk a lot. Let's see the action.
Okay,
they can
so
say we are
fair
the
enough,
first prime
fair
minister,
enough.
we are the first chief minister, but we would like to see a 15 days.
Wait for a few days.
Well,
You'll see the result.
It's a completely fair ask, and I think 15 days, if the chief minister has asked us for 15 days we're more than willing to give him. That deadline expires on the 13th of October, and on this channel, we'll keep a very close eye on the work that's happening on the ground. On a daily basis on this show, you will get an update of
And
what
I would
roads are
say
being
I'll
fixed.
be the happiest.
Of what roads are being fixed and what progress we're seeing in the city of Mumbai.
We are all very happy if the chief minister can do it.
We're a commitment of 15 days from the Chief Minister of Maharashtra that Mumbai will be entirely pothole free. And if you're watching at home and you want to join us in our campaign, you know how to get in touch with us. Send us photographs, videos of potholed roads in your neighborhood that you would like the BMC to look at, and we will forward it to the right authorities and make sure that it comes in as part of this 15-day program to get the city fixed. Our contact details are on your screen right now. Right now, I want to move on to our debating focus for tonight. Now, a new open space policy by the BMC has not gone down quite well with citizens and activists in Mumbai. The policy states that all open spaces should be maintained by private organizations. However, activists and citizens demand that the 216 plots that are marked as open spaces be maintained by the BMC. Now, with this regards, a group of activists met with BMC Commissioner Ajoy Mehta on Tuesday evening with certain demands. Disha Shah caught up with these activists and asked them what those demands were. Listen in.
Our first demand is that all 216 should be taken back. Second demand is BMC must develop and maintain all the plots. And third demand is no third-party ownership should be created. Mr. Commissioner said that yes, in the new policy, we are just giving a maintenance agreement type of thing. But as a matter of fact, when we went through the new policy, which is right now being circulated with the group leader of the corporation, that there is no such maintenance agreement reference. It is basically to hand over those plots to the private parties. That means you are going to create third-party ownership. So, Mr. Commissioner misguided the whole concerned citizens group.
What we don't understand is 90 plots have not been taken back by the MCGM, and my direct question to the municipal commissioner was, why is it not done? And the answer to this was that basically there was no answer initially, and the way he spoke to the citizens was definitely not on. He said, I will speak only to the elected representatives and not to any activists. So my say is very simple and straightforward. All the 90 plots should be immediately taken back by the MCGM the way the others have been taken back, and then a proper policy should be drafted.
Well, they certainly need a better policy for open spaces in Mumbai, because there are two questions we're asking us. Does Mumbai need more open spaces? And who should be looking after these open spaces? The need for open spaces in Mumbai has been a growing demand from citizens and activists across the city. But is it being considered seriously enough? Are we doing enough to protect what we have? We went out and spoke to citizens of the city who asked them if they think Mumbai has enough open spaces and are they well managed. Listen to what the citizens have to say.
देख रहा हूँ कि ओपन स्पेस बड़ा ही कम है यहाँ पर, बच्चों के खेलने के लिए जगह नहीं है यहाँ पर। आज मैंने पहली बार देखा कि यहाँ पर एक ग्राउंड है जहाँ पर कुछ बच्चे प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं, तो मेरे हिसाब से कि ग्राउंड ओपन होना बहुत ज़रूरी है।
बीएमसी के ग्राउंड के ऊपर बड़े बड़े जिमखाने बनाने के बाद उनको फैसिलिटीज़ जो बड़े पैसे वाले हैं ये उनको मिलता है, लेकिन जो इन जनरल जो क्रिकेटर्स है या कि उनको वो उनका फैसिलिटीज़ नहीं मिल रहा है।
और भी एटमॉस्फेयर तो बहुत अच्छा है यहाँ का, लेकिन ग्राउंड का कमी है मैडम।
So we need that much of a ground, much of a grounds and much of open places where we are having, instead of giving lands, open lands to the builders, otherwise other projects, instead of that we have to develop grounds.
So in the urban debate tonight, we asked, do we need better open spaces, better managed open spaces in the city of Mumbai, and should there be a policy maintained by the government? Niranjan Shetty BJP Spokesperson, Shama Mohamed Spokesperson of the Congress, stay with the conversation. Shailesh Gandhi, former CIC and RTI activist, Himanshu Chaturvedi, sports commentator and the founder of Lokdeeksha Sports Law Initiative, joined me on the show as well. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us. I'll start with Mr. Gandhi. Shailesh Gandhi, tell me this. There is a need right now for more open spaces. We just heard it. We've had several conversations on this channel about the fact that even if there are parks in Mumbai, they're normally joggers parks or walking parks. There's no space for children to play. I mean, this came out of the fact that we felt that we lost out in the Olympics, but where are our children going to learn to play? Where are they going to play sports? Where is the space being set aside in the city? There's such a dire need for clear and careful open space policy, isn't there?
Let me put this in perspective. A, by any international standards, Mumbai's open spaces are pathetic.
Right.
That's a fact, and today we are living with that.
Pathetic how? Because there aren't enough spaces or because they're not managed well enough?
No, they're not enough.
Okay.
I mean, there's a world standard saying for so much population, you must have so much open space. That's the way human beings are supposed to stay. But we don't have that. I mean, that's a fact. Given that, the truth is there are actually probably around 800 to 1,000 grounds, a lot of them maintained by BMC, well, poorly, badly, but they are maintained by them. Under various policies, over the last 20 years or more, they brought in something that they called a caretaker policy and then an adoption policy for open spaces. I often wonder, adoption is for orphans. And who's the orphan here? Are the citizens of Mumbai orphans? Are our open spaces orphans? But nevertheless, they've given a lot of these. Some of them have been converted into private gymkhanas. Some of them have got converted into private grounds. And they get it free of cost. Not 1 paise is charged to them. The MCA has also built a huge amount, and therefore the court said, oh, since it's already built, we can't do anything, but they should pay something to BMC. What we've learned is, when you create a private interest in a property in Mumbai, any private interest, I mean, I'd say, that person will try and take advantage of it.
Right. And you know, my fundamental point here is in the spaces that you're talking about, the private gymkhanas, the private grounds, the private clubs, there's no public access to these spaces, and this is public land. If we want, and my demand here remains for the children, if we want the children to play sports, then I don't understand why the Breach Candy Club can't be opened up to them. I don't understand why the fancy cricket clubs in BKC can't be opened up to them. Why can't Bombay Gymkhana be opened up to the local children who can use the facilities during the day? It's a very simple demand, but somehow, tell me what response you received from the BMC Commissioner when you met him yesterday. You met him on this issue.
Yeah. So all along, they have been finding ways of creating private party interest and handing them over. And the way our nation is, once interest is created, nobody is able to get them to vacate. Sunday, 6 months back, the Chief Minister announced that we are going to take back all grounds. Ashish Shela promised us that he is going to pass a resolution in the assembly so that these grounds cannot be given to anybody. However, after that, the Chief Minister said, take back all the 216 that have been given on various grounds. 116 were taken back, 90 have not been taken back. And those 99% belong to the peddlers of influence and political patronage. The good NGOs returned the grounds to BMC. Now they have come in with an interim policy. We met the commissioner yesterday and said, why are you creating this third-party interest? Please give us an explanation for that.
Right.
And there is no real explanation. And he, at the end, because we were very persistent, said we are only going to give a maintenance contract. So at least I believed him and some of us believed him. We said, okay, fine. If it's only a maintenance contract without creating any interest, we can live with that. But later on when we saw the proposal clearly talks of handing over grounds. The proposal clearly talks of adoption of
So
grounds.
you're saying basically when grounds are handed over, grounds are adopted by private entities and they lock their doors to public, there's nothing the BMC can do then?
BMC can, but it will not.
It will not.
The truth is, they can't, they don't.
They have not up till now.
The commissioner says, yes, we will take action. To which my counter is, they are not able to stop illegal buildings. They are not able to stop encroachments. And where is this magic mantra suddenly coming on? 90 plots also, they cannot even issue notices. And then we are told that we'll enforce everything.
So the word of the BMC is not good enough for you. Himanshu, Chaturvedi, you've been smiling through that story because I know that this is not new information for you. This is something you've been battling for a very, very long time. Where is the failure here in terms of policy and execution? Why can't we do this right?
Let me draw two instances out of it. If we ever see a political manifesto of a political party, we never see sports as a space there. So I've been saying loud and clear for last almost 3 decades that it's a political will, it's the will of the people, that the intentions are doubted. There's nobody who wants people to get into health and this kind of. These all politicians, they on one or the other pretext go travel abroad. Go and study. I don't know what they study. Don't they go there and see there are public spaces where these tennis courts, football ground, hockey pitches, basketball courts, skating rings are made. And people just come and play there. And some of the places you have a small token money which you just put it there for maintenance. So I think it is more of a political will. It is you don't want to do it. So if you want to do it, you can easily do it. You have so much of space. You can have private people also coming and running it. You don't have to hand over those places. Government has enough money in their kitty. They can create these infrastructures as a social project. They create everything. There are mandir, there are masjid, there are churches. We have all kind of land which has been allotted to them. We have all kind of schools. We have nursery schools. We have primary schools. We have all kind of schools. So why can't we also take some policy? There's some policy has to be done for sports. And sports is, mind you, just not for competition. It's for so much of wellness. Today we see so much of health problems. Half of them will go away. You have so much of crime problem that will go away because these children will come from school, exhaust themselves on a sports field, tire themselves, sweat it out, go back home, eat good food, and they sleep. There would not be any obesity. The children will not suffer with diabetes. There are so many issues related to sports. But I think there is no political will. There is nobody who wants to do a research, sit down on it, because actually channel like you is not making human cry. So if there is a huge hue and cry made, some kind of a public campaign is set onto it, without this, these people will not wake up and do anything.
Niranjan Shetty, is there no political will?
Yeah, I would put it in a different way. Basically, where Shailesh sir said, initially when all the plots were taken back, it was during our tenure that our CM...
But all the plots were not taken back. All the plots were not taken back. The
No.
conversation that we are having today is because the plots were not taken back.
That's what I'm trying to say. Let me complete my point.
Okay.
What the CM had asked was to surrender all those plots. Basically, if you see, it was Gopal Shetty who had taken up such a barren land and then created such a good infrastructure over there, and he had voluntarily given. Now, coming to another point which I would like to make is, it's in a different perspective. What I'm trying to say is, initially when all these agreements were done, at that point of time, MCGM was not that cash rich. Okay. Now, take for example where Shailesh sir knows that the Oval Maidan itself was given to Nayan Katapalia, who is taking care in a very good manner. Or for example, there are many other NGOs who are taking care of such Maidans or the playgrounds or the recreational grounds. Basically, later on it was brought to the notice of this present government that this was been misused. And hence, for that reason, everything was asked to be taken back. And thereafter, I think now presently, it may be in such a perspective like the MC must have been thinking, those good NGOs, those good organizations who can come forward, and it may be for an interim period of 11 months, then they can go ahead and give to these good people again so that they can take care of such playgrounds which they were maintaining previously.
Mr. Gandhi, you don't agree?
Sir, things are not made by good people and bad people. Government and governance runs on
Can I come in?
systems.
Yeah.
This is a system that is flawed, which says, I will give somebody the interest in my property and give him rights.
Sir,
there is absolutely no need, and even now.
Sir, it was run previously also.
Sir,
there are good examples who
there
have
are
done
good and bad
things.
examples both.
Yeah, so that's what.
And
So
even
let
a good
us think of the good people
Sir,
and let us give us the
let
good
me just
people.
finish. Even a very good NGO, let me assume for a moment, is there. 5 years later, can anybody guarantee that it will remain good, that the same set of people will continue? The answer is no. Nobody gives his property away to someone else for free. Even individuals don't do it. The poorest man in Mumbai will not do it, and yet BMC
And the richest man in Mumbai will not do it.
I will agree, but
Nobody will do it. Shama Mohamed.
No, just 1 second.
Yes.
Why is the Chief Minister not saying take everything back and stick to the policy? Mr. Ashish Shelar had given this assurance. The Chief Minister had given an assurance in the Assembly that we will pass a law that BMC cannot give any of its properties away. And that is not happening. There is a flip-flop. Unless I am happy. If the BJP says we will not support it, I am very happy. I would say, bravo, we'll applaud you.
Sir, I think we should give
Shama
a
Mohamed,
chance to
Shama.
the present municipal commissioner who has stated that it is just an 11-month policy. Interim,
Can I come
it
in?
itself makes
But
sense that it's an interim
if the policy is being disagreed on its very spirit, it doesn't matter whether it's interim or
See, the
permanent.
11
It's an interim.
Right, Shama, go ahead.
Can I just come in here? Yeah, first and foremost, you just said that it's a 11-month policy. Now, for 5 years, people are not interested in giving back. In 11 months, who is going to give back the land? What is the basis of this policy? There is no clear policy. Now, in 2007, there's the controversial caretaker and adoption policy, which Vilas Rao Deshmukh had stayed. So the Congress party has always been against this sort of policy where BMC land is given to private people. Before, it was for 33 years the lease in the controversial caretaker and adoption. The caretaker could keep it for 33 years. And now, of course, they want to change it, but they've been unable to change this sort of policy. Now, the most important thing is the BMC has to take up all these back and they have to run it. The BMC is the richest corporate body in India. I can't understand why they are leasing it or giving it to somebody else to take care of it. Why can't they build parks, open spaces, playgrounds, and most of these, the 90 which they have not taken back or they have not sent notices, are run by the BJP Shiv Sena politicians, where a lot of playgrounds, swimming pools, clubs have been created, and it's not for the public. It's only for the elite to go in there. And in the old law, it was if you leased out a land, 25% they could build it, and the rest 75% was for public. But the public never, and they control the whole land. Now in 2010, a new law which they want to take up is that the BMC will give only 25% to the private entity, and 75% would be kept by the BMC, but the private entity should pay for the upkeep of the 75%. Now the BJP and Shiv Sena corporators don't want that. The MLAs don't want that because they do not have control of the whole land. They have control only of the 25%. So this has been going on for the last 7 years. So at the end of the day, we, the Congress party, want BMC to take complete control of these lands and give it to the public. For them to play, for the public to come in, not just the elite.
Shama, the question also here that we have to answer is, does BMC have the capacity? Does BMC have the capacity or the expertise to manage that much land? Shailesh Gandhi, does the BMC have the ability to manage those plots of land?
I proposed a policy.
No, they have to.
Right. I've proposed a policy.
Definitely there will be a way to do it. If there is a will, they said political will sometime back of the Chief Minister. If there is a political will, if there is a will, definitely you can do it. Why not?
No, I've actually proposed a perfect policy.
Everywhere around the world it's been done.
Right.
Why not?
Right, Shama, 1 second. Mr. Gandhi.
I've proposed a absolutely proper policy. I'm not just opposing something. I've said BMC must give contracts or maintain the open spaces itself, pay for it itself. There's adequate money. And because they are incapable of properly doing things, the auditing and monitoring can be done by private agencies, by private ALMs,
somebody else can do it, but the BMC has to audit and has to monitor it on a...
The same people to whom they are proposing to give this adoption right, which is actually a kidnapping policy, could as well look after it. And there is no reason, nobody will say, if he has honest intentions, that only if I pay for this and get a right, will I then take care of it? I don't think anyone will do that.
Yes, sir,
and in fact, Naina Katpalli I have spoken to, she agrees with this. That yes, they would be happier not having to spend on it, but only monitoring and auditing it.
I think Naina Katpalli is doing the same thing. Basically, presently what she is paying or what actually, see, that was voluntarily by those Oval Maidan and those group of NGOs that come forward and they had taken the task to that they'll maintain that. Same way there is Karnataka Sports Ground, there is Vensurskars Academy
Sir, we are
taking
not talking
care.
of the past.
So,
I'm saying now what should we do?
Sir, we cannot, see sir, we have to give them chance. We cannot decide in such a manner that all people look at them as all are evils. We have to think that there are people in the society who are people like Naina Katpalli and Dr. Bakshi or some matters.
Himanshu Chaturvedi, where do you stand on this?
Well, I am of this opinion, which I started the dialogue with. You have a Priyadarshini Park, which is a true example. You have a synthetic track, you have a synthetic tennis court up there, and you have people coming and playing there. You have coaches coming in. There are people training there. So, these kind of policies, we actually don't have to. Mumbai is a place, the land is so costly, and you don't get an inch of a land. If you give a land to somebody, you'll never get out of that land. So, the government should have experts coming in, training and running those places. Correct. The minute you give land over to somebody, nobody is going to give it back, and we know how our legal system is. That, you've given me a document, I'll go to the court and I'll keep from one legal to the another, from the lower court to the high court and the benches. I'll keep hanging on to that land. So, you should have a policy where you create an infrastructure and get a professional agency to run it. You don't have to give a lease. You can do a licensing of the property, which allows them not lock and key. So just tell them to come, let people use it, let it be a professionally looking, management, but you don't have to give them lock and key. You can always have your own lock and key. So where is the problem of issuing a license instead of issuing a lease? So I think if you issue a lease, you're almost losing the land out of your hands.
Right. And this is very true that what he said, when you give land to someone, you will wrap yourself up in years of litigation that could go on forever. I mean, even the government, we know that there's a fisheries college in Andheri that they needed to be vacated in order to build a 100-foot road. The college has not moved. The college belongs to the government. The BMC belongs to the government, and both of them are in High Court against each other right now. So, Niranjan, it's a fair point that
see, let me put it in a different way. There are actually I did not want to bring politics, but my colleague, the Congress spokesperson, spoke about the BJP Sena leaders having such kind of area. I would like to bring to her notice that Sanjay Nirupam has, her Aslam Sheikh has, and very known Priyadarshini's park is taken care by B.A. Desai, and see how well it is run. Now that the stretch what he mentioned, that the synthetic stretch he mentioned, it is there at Priyadarshini Park. It is well functioning and well taken care of. So there are people who have put in a lot of efforts on just a meager amount of money that even the corporation was not doing previously. I think, basically, if the municipal commissioner has thought of such kind of things, I think we should thank him for that, and at least for 11 months we can see, if there is something
Gandhi,
wrong,
why won't you thank the municipal commissioner?
We can come here and debate again.
Did you thank the municipal commissioner yesterday, Shailesh Gandhi? Why not?
11 months
Yesterday,
is too short a period.
Right at that meeting, he misled us by saying this is only a maintenance contract, which is not there in the proposal at all. B, let's extend this argument that my friend is giving and say the roads, let's give them to private people with ownership rights. Our buildings, government buildings, let's give them. Let's give the entire government of India to private people to run, and they'll run it much better. I think this is a ridiculous position. And B, the Chief Minister had himself said, we'll take back everything and we'll run it. Why are you going back on that?
It is a democracy where public participation is allowed, PPP is allowed, and this kind of things
you are saying the Chief Minister didn't know what he was doing?
It's for the good of the community, sir. If the person or the community wants to do something for the society, let's come out with a policy. And I don't think so there is something wrong in coming out with a policy where some participation of the public is there and the public does something good.
But the thing is, the government is not coming with a policy.
Public can participate in auditing and monitoring, and there are lots of good agencies who
Here,
are very
public
happy
is not paying. The public
Sir,
is doing voluntarily. There are many people.
Sir, public is paying. Public is paying to maintain these, and once you pay, you start believing you have an ownership right.
I believe Niranjan, we should be very wary of the fact that the public in Mumbai already pays taxes. We pay taxes to run the city. And because we pay taxes, there are certain services that we expect in this city, given the GDP that this city generates for the state government and for the central government. We expect to have a decent quality of life. While that involves pothole-free roads, it also involves well-managed public spaces. Shankar is on the phone line right now. He's a citizen who's picked up the phone. Shankar, go ahead. We can hear you.
Yeah, I'm calling from Chennai, and these
Yes.
days the only sports that are popular with children in these big cities are karate and chess, because these games do not require a lot of
Space.
Real estate. And I think we should give up on big cities when it comes to sports requiring huge real estate, given the commute issues, transportation issues, and the population density. So even if we manage to build an infrastructure for cricket or football, for the population density, it would be available to very few people. So I think we should now focus on the rural regions where a lot of land availability is there, and people have time and they don't have to commute long distances to access those facilities. And probably cities, we can concentrate on sports like boxing or squash or table tennis, which do not
have a lot of space. We do not require a lot of space. Nikhil, all right, fair enough. Nikhil Desai is also on the phone line. Nikhil Desai,
but that is not just.
No, Shama, I want to take one more phone call and then we'll answer both of those questions. Nikhil Desai.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say I want to make 3 points.
Yes.
First is about the budget. It is about the budget of BMC. If I have done RTIs and I have found that last 3 years the BMC has kept 400 crore rupees per year for gardens and its maintenance and development. And when second question was how much actually is spent on the gardens during those years, they have spent 40 crore, 50 crore, 100 crore. Means half or more than half of the fund gets lapsed because they don't have any plan to do anything for the gardens. Then there is no question that there is no funds to maintain this garden. That is number one. Number two is in Vadala, a builder had a plot and he was building some building, and nearby plot was actually reserved for an open space.
Yes.
And he happily built a wall and a door and showed as if it is his own property. And he stopped. This is only because somebody made an RTI to find out whether that garden belongs to BMC or to that builder. And it came out that it belongs to BMC, that forcefully it was need to be opened. And that builder shamefully said, then I was taking care of that space because otherwise it would have been encroached. This is all nonsense. BMC doesn't even know what are their spaces, open spaces, which they should protect. And all
one wonders if they don't know, Nikhil Desai, or they're turning a blind eye, which could be two completely different things. I refuse to believe that an organization like the BMC doesn't realize when there is a builder fencing in an open space and calling it part of their, part of their complex. Incidentally, that developer was building sporting facilities on, on that open space. Shailesh, Gandhi, respond to the fact that 400 crore rupees set aside year after year in the BMC as a budget for open spaces, not spent.
This is well known. And the point is, unfortunately, the political class or BMC is not giving any rational answer. We are saying, why are you creating private interest? Did the Chief Minister not know when he announced? And if you go by this logic, tomorrow he'll say, pothole, sorry, I didn't know what I was saying. He has said this. Mr. Ashish Shelar had said this. When we had organized meetings in public, Mr. Amit Satam came and said, I agree with you. And then what changed? Or is it political equations that are changing? Is it corruption that's responsible for this? Sir, we need an answer. We need a clear assurance from the Chief Minister that public open spaces will not be given to any private person. No private interest will be created in public open spaces.
I'm only trying to say is, let us give us some time to the municipal commissioner. If he has come with an interim policy, let us study that instead of going directly.
Once the chief minister has come out and, like we said in the beginning of the show, put his personal reputation on the line and given a personal assurance saying that this will be done.
So that's what I'm saying.
Why are we now revisiting the whole thing and saying, okay, now let the the municipal commissioner make up his mind?
That's what I'm trying to say. If there were some gardens or the recreational ground which were doing something wrong, so those same things were asked to surrender or been taken back. Now, if suppose there's some kind of concept which the municipal commissioner is thinking of and give it to some good organization where I said PPP is allowed, let that PPP be allowed, let the common people be also involved in all the development of this city. What's harm in that? Let's think in a positive manner. Let's not think that everyone is evil. Let's have a positive set of mind where there are good people also who want to. Yes, I agree with Nikhil Desai. There must be some kind of the corporation's inefficiency where
but the BMC, Mr. Shetty, has approached every other form of building and development and land with a lens that sort of looks at everybody as evil, which is how FSI rules are made, which is how OCs are handed out. You have to look at these entities with that level of scrutiny, with that level of regulation, if you're going to make it work.
I will agree to certain point of yours and the panel and the panelists, those who are there. I do agree. There are black ships in the corporations and in the department. I don't disagree to that. But what I'm trying to say, as far as the policy is concerned, let us think in a positive manner. There are good people who want to take care of the city's open space.
How are you going to tell the difference between good people and bad people?
That's what Shailesh said.
Political affiliation.
That afterwards, nobody can judge within a day. Let's see, it is the experience that they have done. No, just I gave an example. I don't want to repeat the name of that lady or the gentleman once again and again. Of course, it is the previous experience that how they have maintained those gardens or the open spaces.
Okay. Let me bring in the other two panelists as well. Shama Mohamed, go ahead.
Yeah, what I would like to say is that first and foremost, this 11th month policy is not going to work. You need to have a proper comprehensive policy, a long-term policy. Why don't they do it? Why this interim sort of policy? We're doing this for some time. Why don't you just come up with a plan? And like Mr. Gandhi said, whatever is owned by Congress MLAs or whoever is leased to Congress corporators, they're run well and they are for the public. They're not for person, not just for the elite. The public are allowed to come there. And number three is, people should understand, Mumbaikars should understand, BMC is one of the most corrupt corporate bodies in our country, and the people of Mumbai should give them a befitting reply in the coming Mumbai civic polls. That's the only way. They need change. It's time the BMC is taken away from Shiv Sena and BJP.
Now, I would like to come in here.
Yes.
See, you have brought politics into here. If that is the thing, then your government, the central government and the state government was most corrupt, and that is why the state government and the central government was asked to leave by the people of the city as well as at the center.
Well, I want to bring in Himanshu Chaturvedi. Himanshu,
I'm not talking about, I'm talking about the BMC.
No, that's what, see, we are discussing on an open policy where I agreed. I said there are in corporation or somewhere. I agreed to the panel discussion. I am not denying. But here you are bringing in the politics
of Mumbai.
It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
No, I'm not bringing in
how
politics.
Can you say that your BMC, that the playgrounds were well maintained by the Congress people and not well maintained by the BJP or the... Not a single Congress person has handed over the plot back.
The BMC
for your kind information, out of that 90, one is Mr. B.A. Desai, who has been the minister for years. You ask Priyadarshini Park how much money has been taken. Can a common man enter over there? No. But then to have appreciated, the only reason is that the track he was speaking of,
nothing has happened. What has been happening?
Yeah, the synthetic track he has created, there are people going, but that does not mean that I am pointing and accusing finger towards the
hang on. I want to bring in Himanshu Chaturvedi. Himanshu Chaturvedi, we did not respond to Shankar's phone call from Chennai. Shankar said quite disheartenedly that all the children in urban centers should only play chess, because that's the only thing that will be available to them, which I think, because of the level of corruption, because of the state of affairs right now, this is why the defeatist attitude that let's just teach our children to play chess because there's nothing else that they're going to be able to play in any of our cities, which is so unfortunate.
I would like to draw one small attention to my two respected panelists that, I think we're talking of playgrounds, we're talking of children, and they don't understand what politics is all about. Whether it is BMC, whether it is Congress, whether it is BJP, whether it's Shiv Sena or any other party. I mean, these children are, they just want to play. So they don't understand what the politics is, who's giving the land to whom. They just need to get out of their houses and play because that's their birthright, to at least have an open space. And I don't agree with my friend who called up and he said, Shankar said, if because you don't have a space, let children get inside and start playing chess and taekwondos and judos. I'm sorry. We need to focus ourselves. We are seeing today what is happening to the health and the people. We need to restore and increase more and more of these green areas and open spaces. We need to have a policy where actually we can increase and restore these and stop these buildings to come onto them. So one point I don't agree. Second, I would like to say that again, I'm coming back to it is a political bill. Like we just now discussed about 400 crores were to be for the maintenance of this. How much has been done for sports? All over the world, please go. You have an MCD, you have a mayor. He has a sports department. He has properly appointed deputy directors, deputy commissioners, assistant commissioner. They have a system. They make sure that each livable area has a playing space. It's like a norm. So when you do a construction of a colony, when you create a space to leave people to live, you need to give them a space to play. That's their right. We have to look after that. Now that is more important for a BMC to do it, that they earmark those spaces, develop them through their funding which they have, and or if they can't do it, there are enough sponsors. You have these billboards up there, people pay so much for the billboards, and if you say, okay, these 4 tennis courts would be named XYZ company, you just build them. I'm sure there are hundreds of companies would line up because they need eyeballs and they will probably create those world class of infrastructure and they will let people to come and use it. So it's
and I
all
think
the
also
political
there's a need here, Himanshu,
It's just a process. You have to get into it.
For the government to bring in experts. Now, developers or builders are not the only experts who can build in spaces. There are specific experts who can build sports and training facilities.
Absolutely.
There are corporates who within their CSR can bring in the money, like you said, for branding. There is a need, and that is public. That's PPP. It needn't necessarily be, I'll give you the land, you do as you please with it. Gyanashekaran is on the phone line from Madurai. Gyanashekaran, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening. I want first thank you that your channel to bring out this problem to the public. See, the city authorities should provide enough open spaces for the children to have their sports facilities. Since the lacking of the sports facilities for the children have the mindset changed and they go and take a bad behaviors. So, for example, my daughter is a national table tennis player playing in Madurai. Suddenly, the school has asked to vacate the places, and for a year they don't have a space to play. They go around from one place to another for playing.
Yes.
So, what is the government is not also taking any steps, and the private people are also not taking any steps. And the government should bring some kind of steps to provide space to the children and to the public.
Absolutely. And I think that it's also important, Mr. Gyanashekaran, a very good point. I think it's also important for us as citizens to be more passionate and vocal about what we want.
Can I answer on this?
Yes, go ahead, Himanshu.
Yeah, because I had a wonderful point in this gentleman, what he's saying, that exactly is that it is the mandatory, in fact, the voters must raise this voice. It's we the voters, we the people. We have never invoked this kind of an awareness, and we have not forced these political parties to think about sports also is a necessity of life. Because I have never, till date, have seen a single political party putting even one line about even what a municipal corporation, be it MLA, be it MP, one line mentioned about sports facility being developed or a culture being developed or maybe selecting players and promoting players. I don't see them doing that. Now, unless and until we force them to do that, we will keep talking about it. These people will keep, somebody or the other will play a name of sport, they'll capture the land, they do something else on it, they would not create sport, because sports will not give you that kind of money which a small shop of 10 by 10 would give it, or a flat would give it. So that it doesn't make a commercial sense. So people do come and take land in pretext of sports, but they do something else.
They do something else as well. You know, I want to ask Mr. Gandhi this question. There is again a policy in works right now. Shama, I'll come to you. I'll come to you after this one question. There is a policy in the works right now for the salt pan lands of Mumbai. Salt pan lands are not developed. Up till now, they're a non-development zone. There's a consideration to use them for affordable housing, may or may not happen. If we voice our opinions strongly enough as a population at this point, saying, if you're going to use those spaces, use them as open spaces, use them as spaces for children. Is that something that we can push right now, Mr. Gandhi?
We can and we should, provided this government and everybody says public spaces, public government spaces or BMC spaces will not be given to third parties in the name of adoption, kidnapping, all kinds of... They'll come up with new labels, I'm sure. They'll say, oh, it's adoption, it's interim, it's long term. All of this should stop. If it doesn't stop, in fact, I'm going to appeal to citizens of Mumbai, all of us must say, if you give my land away for free to somebody, we will not vote for you. I think that's the only language that the political class will understand.
All right, Shama Mohamed.
No, I just wanted to second Himanshu regarding this. He said nobody's interested in sports because most of the time the sports minister, like we've seen Mr. Vijay Goyal, does not have passion for sports. You yourself should be an athlete or...
No, but then Shama, I'll ask you, previous governments have sports ministers being athletes.
For it.
I mean, what is the track record
Even
of
us,
previous
I'm
governments?
not denying that. I'm not denying that. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm not denying that. What I'm saying is that we all parties should, whenever they are appointing a cabinet minister, should have somebody who has passion for sports. That's when we'll have a great ministry or a good sports ministry happening. And I'm not denying about my party also. It's not just about BJP. It's not a political point here. It's about the whole country. And we as Indian citizens should fight for what we want. Like the boy who called up from, I think, Bangalore said, you know, we should play just taekwondo and chess. That is giving up. We should not give up. We should ask for we should demand for what is our rights, like open spaces. If we want to be in Olympics or any other things, every country in the world, if you go, you will see a lot of open spaces where they just have to pay a minimum amount to get into those spaces. Swimming pools, playgrounds, tennis courts, squash courts. I mean, it's very unfortunate. I empathize with the person who called from Madras, I think, Chennai, who said that his daughter could not practice table tennis for a year. And that is really sad. And we all, both political parties, should work towards a solution for this, you know.
I'm really glad to hear you say that. Niranjan Shetty, do you echo that political parties should put aside their differences and prioritize open spaces in sports?
Absolutely. I agreed to that point of view. I agreed that whatever the panelists are discussing, I do not disagree to any point of view. But what I am trying to say, I would just like to add, since she's making a political statement, I would like to bring to her notice that Rajwardhan Rathod is the cabinet minister for sports, just for your knowledge, who's in charge of the central minister.
No, excuse me.
And Vijay Goyal is the state minister.
He's not the minister for sports.
I'm sorry, sir.
You're finding a loophole here. He's still working in the INB ministry. He's not the
minister for sports.
Simultaneously, Rajwardhan Rathod
is a broadcasting minister.
My God,
he's working in the INB ministry. He's not in the sports. He was not in Rio.
Are you?
He didn't go, but
he should have. He's an Olympian.
If he's in charge, you've got
that cannot be the logic of who can be the minister. What we are discussing over here is about the open policy. And as far as Himanshu sir is saying about the sports that should be allowed, I would also like to bring to your point, of course, then you will feel that it's a politics. I myself have saved the Kolaba area which was used by the St. Anne's on all the schools, which was trying to be bought in as a swimming pool by a Congress corporator, which was vehemently opposed by the locals. So this is what is happening.
So circle back to what we're talking about, which is that there is an open space policy. One second, there's an open space policy that's being worked on that the Chief Minister has made his stand very clear on. He has said that no more private people will be given open spaces. The BMC needs to work on a policy now that ensures that that will not happen. How can we make sure that this goes through?
Yeah, I'm only trying to say is, if the municipal commissioner has come out with some suggestion or some kind of interim policy, let us assess it. It's just a 11-month policy, and
think the
thereafter
assessment
we
is
can.
already being done.
Shailesh sir, we are living in a democracy.
Sir,
you yourself said you can vote against any.
No, we will. But
yeah, you
please,
can vote
please
against
tell me
any.
what is the
party.
purpose of the Commissioner of Mumbai and the
Guessing
municipal
the Chief Minister.
corporators spending time for an 11-month policy?
Yes.
I mean,
let
this
us
is
not
ridiculous.
doubt the integrity of the municipal commissioner, as well as let us think that there are
ridiculous thing,
people
yes, I
who
agree
have taken
totally.
care of this Mumbai
So that is irrelevant. That is irrelevant to this.
open spaces. Previously, they have spent lakhs of
No,
money
this is
and
what
they have
this is
taken
what
care.
makes us doubt.
No,
All right.
it's not.
So I think
necessarily
we
means
are
that
out of
every
time,
time that you
unfortunately.
spend the money and that person will ask for the in something in return.
I'm sorry.
There are
Okay.
people.
Hang on. I think that we've run out of time and we have to wrap up this discussion. But one thing that we've all agreed on: A, we need open spaces. B, we need to demand it. And if we don't get it, it has to be a factor of choice in the next election. Do we all agree on that? That if we don't get our open spaces, if our open spaces are actually being given out to private parties for a third-party advantage, that should be reason enough for us to be very, very upset as citizens. And we should, in fact, use that as the decision-making criteria the next time we vote in the elections, whether that is municipality or state. Now, if you want to know how will you find out what's being decided, you'll find out on this channel. We'll track the story. We'll tell you what's happening. If the BMC is handing out our land as citizens, our land to private parties to fence in and use as private spaces, we will let you know. And that should upset you as citizens, and that should influence your vote. That's where we're leaving this discussion at. Thanks for watching.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Magicbricks Now. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magicbricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/Magicbricks Now.